Hello. Today, I want to tell you that we've got potential. See, even the neurons agree with me. One is telling the other, I think we've got potential. And yes, we do. We've got potential. We have membrane potential. We have resting membrane potential. We have gradient potentials. We have threshold potential. We have synaptic potential. We have action potential. That are just some potentials that I have listed. We have many more in our nervous system. And I really hope that somebody would make a rap song to help me memorize all of them. And so when I am looking at neurobiology, I cannot help but wonder, why is potential called potential? So I did some digging, and turned out it has something to do with physics. And so this video will be three parts. One, why is potential called potential? Two, some basic physics to help us understand the electrical potential function and how that's related to our third part, which is how do our neurons generate action potentials or electrical signals. So part one, let's look at the brief history of potential from physics to neurobiology. Let's start with Isaac Newton, this guy with gorgeous hair. So we all know the story about Newton and the apple and how he found gravity as a force acting at a distance. And so I think we're good at this part. And next, in the 1700s, we have two French mathematicians. On the left is Joseph Louis Lagrange. On the right is Pierre Simon Laplace. And so they started describing forces using mathematical functions from which forces could be calculated. And in 1828, there is this amazing English mathematician. He is mostly self-taught, introduced what became known as the potential function in electricity and gravity. So he's kind of like a milestone in terms of the word potential. And later on in the 1850s, we got William Rankine. And he has distinguished between actual energy, what we now call the kinetic energy, and the potential energy due to position or configuration. If this seems confusing to you, just imagine on this very high hill, there is a rock, and that is the potential energy. Basically, potential energy means it has potential to cause motion. And the potential energy, this term, is often accredited to Mr. William Rankine. Moving on, this is where things got very interesting. We have in the late 1800s and early 1900s, we have Luigi Galvani. He started to do some things with frogs, especially the frogs' legs. Basically, if you look at this is a headless. I repeat, the key word is headless. A headless frog. And why he was dissecting it, we don't know. Some people say it was because he was trying to make soup for his wife. Some people think is for preparation for a lecture. Either way, I think the Italians are the pioneers in the food adventure department. So he noticed that when he was touching the frog's leg with a metal rod, the frog kind of jumped or twitched. And physiologists realized that living tissue produce electricity. This is the turning point, a major discovery, that our biological system are electricity based. And later on, we have this German physiologist called Julius Bernstein. And he kind of applied the physical chemistry of ions to the whole cells, and he realized that the neuron's membrane acts like a tiny biological battery holding a separation of electrical charge. If you want to know what is an electrical charge or what is a charge, please stay tuned with part 2. But if you think I really, physics and we don't vibe, that's also fine. You can just jump to part 3. And because it was an electric voltage waiting to do physical work, he borrowed the established physics terminology potential and called it the membrane potential. And that is why potential is called potential. Well, here is another funny part. You heard the word voltage and you immediately think about battery, right? And so this is the fun part. This gentleman who looks a little bit like the medieval Dracula, I'll do his honor. He's also Italian. Alessandro Volta. He actually invented the first battery called the voltaic pile, very original name. And the reason or his motivation to invent the battery is actually he was very jealous of our frog picking, experimenting guy, Luigi, before. And so, yeah, jealousy can be a great source of motivation. And talking about Luigi Galvani, he actually later on went on to experiment, actually. Yes, he did went on experiment with frogs in various ways, indoors, outdoors, with head, without head. You can imagine. So I think in closing, we should thank those frogs for their contribution to science.